If you want a close-up look at some of our native wildlife, Mass Audubon's Drumlin Farm in Lincoln is a great place to find some. But you may not even have to leave home. So there were signs that there's wildlife in our backyard, and we live close to a pretty densely wooded area. So I put a critter cam out here that's motion activated, and we started to see all kinds of wildlife. A lot of people have asked, just how close is this? Well, the camera sits just into the tree line, no more than 20-30 yards away from the house. This is the critter cam. The camouflaged critter cam straps around a tree and records whenever it detects motion, whether that be a deer or the family dog going through the garden. Bad dog. Domesticated animals aside, we are likely seeing more wildlife because of the pandemic.
We never saw them before because they stayed on the edges. They worked at times of day or night when we weren't paying attention as much. And now that people are home more, they're probably seeing them more.
Tia Penny, senior naturalist for Mass Audubon. She says as we have more contact with wildlife, we also need common sense.
That's probably the most significant point of any conversation about wildlife around us is what do you do? And the first thing you do is leave them alone. Just leave them alone. You know, they're not challenging you, or if they think you are challenging them, they will respond to that. So don't challenge, don't threaten, don't make a big fuss, just go back in the house, walk away.
Wildlife is quite at home in its natural, wild habitat, whether it be stopping to, well, use the facilities, sitting down to scratch a bothersome itch, checking out that unusual item on the tree, or pausing for a Gesundheit. The wildlife around us is going about its business day and night.
Even in the city, you've got, you know, skunks and raccoons and possums and squirrels and chipmunks and all those things. But when you get a little farther out and you get into a regular array of things like foxes and coyotes, they're a bit higher on the predator scale, so you do want to pay some attention. But the biggest issue is to leave them alone.
Penny does say be careful with small pets and mindful of very young children if coyotes are nearby. But she disagrees with the idea that running from a coyote will make you seem like prey.
You're not going to look like prey to a coyote. You're too big. An adult, certainly. A kid it could be different, but our coyotes are not used to prey that are anywhere near our size. The running away part, it's not a question of them trying to catch you necessarily, but it's like, oh, he's running. What's he doing?
Much of the wildlife around us is as curious about us as we are about them. This coyote stared at me for close to a minute before moving on. But what if animals get a little too curious and too close?
If their business keeps impinging on your business, then maybe you need to set up something to keep them out. The big issues are don't feed your pets outside, cover your trash, try to keep your compost so it's not accessible.
Generally, wildlife goes about its business, and even when it doesn't present its best side to us, we should show our best to them.
You don't try to pet them, you don't try to put your kid next to them to take a picture. I mean, the stories that we've all heard are just lacking in common sense. So common sense is important.
And for those interested in a critter cam, it is a bit easier to capture wildlife in the fall and winter when the leaves are off the trees. Not only is wildlife harder to spot in the summer, blowing leaves tend to trigger the motion detector. That's Chronicle for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. I'm Anthony Everett. Have a good evening. Hope to see you back here again tomorrow.